Do you have trouble feeling grounded or present? Do you feel disconnected from your life or from your creativity or from others? All of these things are signs that there is a part of ourself that is not fully integrated, that is waiting for us to come collect it and bring it back home. Hello and welcome back to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember the most important thing of all, why you're here. I'm Asia Suler, author, earth intuitive teacher, and today I wanted to share a video that I've never shared before. It's one I recorded before I started the podcast and just never got around to sharing before Remember Why You're Here came into being. What I'm covering in this video has really been up for me as I start this sabbatical. So if you saw my podcast episode last week, you know that I'm currently on a sabbatical. Starting at the beginning of August, I am in the process of working on my next book, this book that I have been dreaming about creating now for 6 years. So the idea for this book came in before my first book was published. It was already in the mix. It had already been submitted and was being worked over. But this book has sort of been sitting now in my unconscious and in this sort of other world. And now I've had this really incredible experience of deciding to kind of clear the decks and start working on this. And it's been so cool to see what has come up so far. You know, the good stuff, the hard stuff, the deep stuff. It's amazing to me what a process like writing can bring up, like just how spiritual this process is, how much spiritual reclamation can happen through just deciding to sit down and start to write. And it's something I've always been aware of with myself, or for a long time I've been aware of, that writing really is a form of channeling. And one way in which I get in touch with my deepest self, my guides, my ancestors, is through writing. And so that's very much at the heart of this project that I'm working on right now as I just begin the sabbatical that is going to last until the end of the year. And so I thought it was the perfect time to share this video that I made that is all about writing as soul retrieval. So in this recording, I'm going to talk about what soul retrieval is, if you're unfamiliar with the term, why writing is such a potent tool for engaging in self-led soul retrieval. And then there's going to be a prompt, a question that will really help you unlock and call home to yourself these pieces of yourself that are ready to come back into the fold. So if you're ready to reconnect to yourself on a deep level, to step back into wholeness, to experience new levels of integration, creativity, and possibility in your life, then sit back and take a listen to this recording called Writing as Soul Retrieval. Parts of us have a tendency to get lost throughout our lives, whether it's through trauma, hardship, loss, depression. It's normal to feel like we've lost a part of ourselves, like there's a part of ourselves we are not connected to anymore. And yet there's a process called soul retrieval that can help us reclaim these parts of ourselves, can help them to come back home. And there's one simple practice that we can use no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, to help these parts come home. In a shamanic understanding, soul loss is when a part of our essential self steps away. Now, it doesn't mean that a part of us is lost forever. It's like a child hiding in the coat closet. There's a part of us in that moment that departs because it's too scary, it's too overwhelming, it's too much, it's too hard. And it's actually really smart that our soul does this, or that our psyche does this, because normally a part of ourself leaves in that moment because it's just too much for it. We all have sensitive, vulnerable, tender parts of ourselves that, if they were exposed to whatever that hardship was, might have been really hurt by that. So this ability to separate, to hide, to be like a child in the coat closet is actually an important part of protecting ourselves and protecting our psyche. How do you know if you have some soul loss stuff going on? Well, here's a few things to look for. Do you have trouble feeling grounded or present? Do you feel disconnected from your life or from your creativity or from others? Do you deal with depression, anxiety, or addiction? All of these things are signs that there is a part of ourself that is not fully integrated, that is waiting for us to come collect it and bring it back home. In psychology, this is often called parts work, bringing home these parts of ourselves and reintegrating them. So, of course, you can work with a psychologist or someone who's a shamanic practitioner to call these parts of the soul back home, but we can also do some powerful work ourselves to ask for these parts to come back home. These parts left because it wasn't safe for them. So, for example, maybe you had a teacher when you were young who told you that your artwork wasn't any good, that you were never going to be a true artist. Well, the artist part of yourself might have hid from that, might have ran away. It was just too painful to be around. So your goal as an adult is to invite that artist self back in, invite your creativity back in, to feel like a whole person again because that creativity is intact. And how we do that is by creating a safe space for these parts to come back, to know that they're safe, that they're welcome, and that you are a safe person for them to come back and be engaged with. So what is one way that we can do this? Through writing. Writing or journaling is a really powerful yet simple way to create spaces for these parts to come back. Oftentimes, we know exactly what parts of ourselves we're missing or we want to integrate more fully, and yet we don't make space or time to communicate with them. So writing is one way that we can really invite these parts back in. You can try writing a letter to this part, or maybe even writing as this part. What does this part of you have to say right now? What are they dealing with? What are they asking of you? What do they need from you in order to feel safe enough to come back? Writing can really help if any of the parts of ourselves that we left behind were also tied to our creativity, our expression, our academic ability. Oftentimes, writing gets really wrapped up in our mind with accomplishment, with talent, and so we might have shut down the parts of ourselves that are writers, the parts of ourselves that love to write or love to journal or love to express themselves. If any of these parts of yourself feel shut down or feel like they're not in their fullest expression, writing, having a practice of journaling can really help bring those parts back in. I know that poetry was one of my first loves as a child and as a young adult. It was my primary mode of communication and expression and creativity, but at some point in my early 20s, I shut this gateway down. Through a mixture of going through a traditional school setting that seemed to dampen down my creativity and also coming into greater levels of self-judgment and worry over what my peers would think, I eventually shut this channel down, and it wasn't until I started writing poetry again that I really felt like I became my whole self once more, that I got in touch with these parts of myself I had shunted away because I thought they weren't good enough. So here's an exercise you can try if you're ready to reconnect with any lost parts of yourself. Get a piece of paper and a pen and set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. And then answer this question: who is it you're not allowed to be? And just let yourself write stream of consciousness. See what comes out. I guarantee you, whoever this is that you think you're not allowed to be is a lost part of yourself that your own soul and your own psyche is ready to welcome back home. And the cool thing about welcoming these parts back is that when we welcome them back, we access their gifts again. Once again, they're able to bring their innate talents, their perspectives, and we can benefit from that. We can then access those talents, skills, and gifts ourselves. And at the end of the day, we become whole people. So if you are loving this idea of writing as a creative practice to bring you deeper in connection with yourself and your gifts, I'd love to see you in my class, Writing the Earth's Voice. This is a nature writing workshop that's all online that will help you communicate with the living world, and through speaking with the trees, the rivers, the stones, these denizens in nature, you can start to see and understand the nature of yourself, what your wholeness is, and the gifts that you were meant to bring to this world. There's been so much amazing writing that has come out of this workshop. I'm so excited to share it with you. Is there an archetype or persona or person you were in the past that you are ready to invite back in now? Because you deserve the full spectrum of your experience, and you deserve to be able to give the full spectrum of your gifts to this world. Even though I recorded this video before I knew I'd be starting this podcast, when I did, I really feel like I wrote it for right now in my life. It's exactly what I need to hear. It's exactly what I need to remember. And it really it frames this creative project that I'm in so beautifully. And I'm hoping that it's framing the moment of time that you're in beautifully as well, because these times, these moments when we're ready to bring back pieces of our soul, it's indicative of the fact that we have done so much work. We have gotten to the point now where we're ready to welcome back this wholeness. It's a celebration of sorts. So I hope after listening to this, you take some time to celebrate yourself, as well as taking some time to try that writing prompt and see what comes up. Even though I'm currently on my sabbatical, my voice notes are still open. So if you would like to leave me a voice note letting me know about your experience, head on over to asiasuler.com/remember. And if you like this episode, I would love it if you gave it a rating or review, if you just gave it a sprinkling of stars. It really just means so much to me, and it's so supportive as I step into this really radical thing that I've never done before, this thing of taking this sabbatical, of taking that leap, taking that risk of stepping away in the ways that I am from all of my ongoing teaching and the running of my programs, to just focus on this next book, to be in writing as soul retrieval. So thank you for supporting me in that way. It really just means so much. So may you just continue to come home as you walk through the rest of this week, this month, or even the rest of this year ahead. May the pieces of you that are ready to come home come all the way back, be welcomed, be reintegrated once more. And as they arrive, may they help you remember the most important thing of all, why you're here.